Welcome to Real Estate IQ, where we answer frequently asked questions people are too scared or too confused to ask. Frequently asked questions. I'm your host, Ejuku Sharon Ibinabo, and today we'll be answering more frequently asked questions that people are either too scared or too confused to ask. In our previous episode, we answered the basic frequently asked questions that people ask, and some persons sent in their questions, and today we'll be diving straight into those questions to answer these questions and to solve every problem you'd have in the future or you would not want to have. So the first question on my list today is real estate really profitable in Nigeria? The answer to this question is yes. Real estate is really profitable in Nigeria, but it's not magic money. People have this misconception about real estate that is a quick way to get money, a get money quick strategy. No, real estate is strategic. There are three major ways people make money from real estate. Now, the first way is land appreciation. Land appreciation. So people buy land at cheaper amounts and sell at a higher amount, meaning that they say that land does not depreciate, it appreciates. So even if you keep a land for a space of 5 years, 10 years, it's definitely not going to depreciate. It's going to appreciate in price. So let's say you buy a property of 2 million naira, you keep it for um 3 years, 5 years, and then it's now selling for 7 million naira, and then you sell yours at 7 million naira. So you've made 5 million naira profit. Yes, so that's how it is. Land appreciation, when you keep a land for a period of time in a developing area, and then when the area is very, very developed, you will sell it. Because I am very sure that people who bought properties in GRA in Port Harcourt at as of the first, like the 90s, they bought at a cheaper amount than now. And then now people are selling at 100 million, 150 million naira for one plot of land in GRA. So that's a good one. So imagine buying land when like in the 90s you bought the land for like a million naira then, and then now you're selling that land for 150 million naira, 200 million naira. That's a lot of money, especially in this economy. So that's one way people make money from real estate. The next way people make money, the next major way people make money from real estate is rental income. When you buy a property or a land and you build a hotel or hostels for, like, let's say in student environment, you build hostels, you build lodge, you build Airbnb, and then you put it up for rent and people pay money. You can do an Airbnb or a short and you get paid depending on the maybe a week. Every week you get paid. People stay like a week, staycation. That's a good way to get steady inflow or steady income. Yes. So you buy a land in a developed area, you put a building on it, and then you start renting it out, maybe for rentage of a year, or you do short lets. That's a good one. That's how you make money from real estate. Steady income. If it can be yearly, it can be monthly, it can be weekly, it can be daily. You can even have a hotel that pays you. You know. So that's another major way people make money from real estate. So the next one is property flipping. Property flipping, that's when you buy, you develop, and you resell. So it's you buy an empty piece of land, you develop that land, you can put a structure, and then you resell it. Yeah, there are people who actually do that a lot. So you buy a plot of land, you build a beautiful, let's say, uh, for residential purposes now, you build a beautiful duplex, and then you sell that duplex, you flip that property. Okay, let's say you buy the land for 30 million naira. By the time you're done building, you sell it for like 200 million, 250 million, 300 million. You've made your money back. This part, yes, you're going to spend money in building the project, but It depends on the project you construct or you develop. It's that will not determine the amount you're going to resell it. So that's a good one, especially if you buy a land or a property in a developed area. It's going to be very easy for you to resell that property. So, the truth about this whole real estate profitable stuff is that the profit depends on the location, the timing, and the developer credibility. So, the next question I have on my list today is, what is the safest type of land to buy? The truth is that not all lands are equal. Not all lands are equal. So we have different kinds of land. We have the dry land, we have wetland, we have waterlogged. Then the safest options of land to buy or to get is the dry land. Again, it depends on what you want to use the property to do. So the dry land has no flooding issues, no matter what, no matter the rain, there'll be no flooding issues. The next safest option of land to acquire is a land without government acquisition. So I know you'll be wondering, how do I know a land without government acquisition? That's when that's where due diligence comes in. Because before you purchase any property, we advise you to do your due diligence. Go and research about the land. Chart the land, take the coordinates of this property to Ministry of Lands. Then it will give you everything that concerns that land. If it is a government acquired land, like a property that the government has kept for future development or for something. So it's best you buy a property, do your due diligence. It doesn't have government acquisition. Avoid flood prone lands. That's why here in Port Harcourt, River State, they always tell you that the best time to search for a house or to go house hunting or land hunting is when it's raining season, so that you see if the place is prone to flood. Yeah, so avoid flood prone lands, then avoid land that are too cheap to be true. If it's too cheap to be true, run, run, so that you will not waste your money. And so, yeah, that's it. Now, the next question I have here is, what documents should I check before buying land? Documents protect you legally. So the kind of document that you should check, the certificate of occupancy. Is this land registered? In our previous episode, we talked about the difference between certificate of occupancy and governor's consent. So, um, certificate of occupancy is the strongest title. That is when the land has been registered with the government. Then the government gives you this certificate of occupancy, giving you the right to use the land for a period of years, maximum 99 years. So if the property is registered in the government, it must have a CFO. It must have a CFO. That's if the land has been registered with the government. So the next thing after the CFO is the deed of conveyance or deed of assignment. We have the deed of conveyance. Deed of conveyance is when a property does not have a CFO, when the land is not registered with the government. The company, the real estate company you are buying from gives you a deed of conveyance, meaning that they have given you your, like, you have full ownership of that plot or that property. But a deed of assignment is them assigning this plot to you, like it comes with the CFO. So the deed of assignment shows that the transfer of ownership from one person to the other. Then the next title that we have, or the next document, is the survey plan. The survey plan shows the exact land location. It shows the exact size of the land, the the shape of the land, the location of the land. So the survey plan is very important. It's a very, very, very important document. So the next document I have on my list here is the governor's consent. The governor's consent is required when you want to resell or you want to sell a land that has a C of O. Because, like I said, the C of O is for lands that have been registered with the government. So, and it says that all lands belong to the government. So when it has been duly registered, it belongs to the government, but the government is assigning it to you for a particular period of years. So when you want to sell that property or want to sell that plot of land, you need a governor's consent to be able to sell it because I'm just going to use an example. I have a phone that I gave to my friend. So, okay, use this phone for 1 month. And then this friend wants to sell that phone, she or he or she will come to meet me and ask for my consent to sell that phone. So that's just how the governor's consent works. So those are the documents we have: the CFO, the deed of conveyance, deed of assignment, survey plan, governor's consent. So no document equals high risk. So ensure that you verify these documents with your lawyer to show that they are good titles. Yes. So the next question I have here is, how can I avoid land scams in Nigeria? This is a very important, very crucial question because a lot of persons have lost millions to land scams. They have lost a lot of money. So this is where people lose money, and we don't want you to lose any more money to real estate land scam. So I'm just going to give you some red flags to note, to take note of when you want to buy a property. So when there's no physical inspection, like at all, not just physical inspection, like no inspections at all, not even virtual inspection, because you can actually buy a property that you haven't seen physically, but you've seen it virtually, and you know you have someone trusted. If you haven't gone for any physical inspection, like they haven't showed you, okay, this is where the land is, red flag, red flag. Then when the agent or the person that you're buying from is pressuring you, buy today, buy now, buy, no, no. Another red flag is no proper documents. No proper document. That's why it's very important to involve a lawyer in real estate. Then unverified agents. That's another one because that's why we always advise, if you want to buy a property from anybody, even if it's a real estate agency or real estate company, you do your due diligence about this company, do your research, ask questions about them. Are they verified? Are they credible? So that you will not lose money anymore. So always visit the site, even if you cannot be there presently or physically. Ask for a live virtual inspection. And if you can, send a trusted representative to go for the physical inspection for you. So verify the documents also. That's another step. Verify the documents with your lawyer because you don't know everything. So you'd need somebody who is very learned in that space, in the legal space. So you'd need a lawyer. Verify the documents with your lawyer. Then the next step is to work with trusted companies. Work with trusted companies. So the next question I have here is, what does buy and build mean? Buy and build simply means you can buy this land and you can start the development immediately. It's not a land that you'd have to wait for 1 year, 2 years for the place to be developed. No, it's already developed. So it's just once you buy, they allocate your plot to you. You can start your project. That is a buy and build um, property. Okay, so the next question I have here is, can I start real estate investment with little money? The answer to this question is yes. You can start real estate investment with little money. Yes, you can. Why do I say so? In real estate, there are different options. You don't have to wait until you have the whole money for you to invest in real estate. You can start with they have payment plan option, that's installment plans. We have off plan project. We have cooperative investment. So you don't have to wait until you have 30 million, 50 million, or 100 million. You can start from as little as um 1 million naira, 500,000 naira. For the installment plans, we have 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, that's 12 months. So you can start with an initial deposit of 50%, depends on your agreement with the company or with the agents, and then you spread it out for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. Yes. Then we have off plan projects, we have cooperative investment where um, a group or a cooperative because they come together and they buy property for their members, and then they deduct the money for the property from, let me say, their salaries or something. So you don't need millions to start, you just need to start. You just need to have at least a small amount to start. Yeah. So I believe I've answered some of your questions, some of the questions that you have in mind about real estate. And I'm sure that you have learned a few things in this session or this episode of Real Estate IQ. I remain your host, Ejuku Sharon Ibinabo. If you have more questions that you'd like us to answer, please write down in the comment section and we're going to answer all your questions in the next episode. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, share this video so that other people can learn and have some value from it so that they would avoid losing their money to real estate or to bad real estate investments. Yes, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel because we'll be dropping this video every week. So don't forget, like, subscribe, comment, share. See you in the next episode.